Now, once you decide whom you're going to make a video for, or maybe you decide to make 2 videos for your project, then again you don't directly sit and start drawing your storyboard, or start planning it. Okay, this is the first shot, this is the second shot. No, it doesn't work again that way. Then this starts with features. Like, sit and actually sort out what are the important features in your project. It might be anything. It can be key points that you want to show in your video. It can be the main 3 features in your product. It can be 3 important features in your website. It can be the only one thing which you want to sell through your video. It might be one single concept which is the most powerful thing in your entire project, so you want to push that in this video. So just sort out what is the most important thing you're going to do through this video. That is the first work you're going to do. Then, if you're making a video for an academic purpose, you really don't have to worry about an audio, provided that your project doesn't have any audio output. Obviously, if it's audio installation and you have an audio, obviously you need to have that particular audio. It's called the pilot track, the original track which you're recording when you're shooting a video. So in that case, you don't have to worry about audio in this point of time. But if you're making a video for your portfolio or for your promotion thing, then it's always a good practice to start the video with the audio, because audio kind of gives you perfect duration, and certain audios will have a good mood in the beginning, and then it becomes extremely powerful and can be a very flat audio with trance music. It can be anything, but choosing a right audio will be like very important, and it's like half of your work is done if you have a right audio. And once when you have an audio, okay, again, how do you find a good audio is a good question. Finding good audio tracks online is kind of difficult because all these royalty free audios are not that great. So search in Google for royalty free music and go through all the websites. Mostly find musics under genres like ambient figures and things like what else, electronic. These are the genres you should be searching for if you're making a decent track. Then next thing you need to think about is the length of the video. Obviously you can't select an audio for 10 minutes, a track which is 10 minutes, unless you can chop it in around 3 minutes or something. Okay, anyway, length of the video can't be more than 2 minutes. 3 minutes is the maximum you can go, because generally the attention span of a person is not more than 2 minutes. Like, nobody can concentrate after 2 minutes. They really get bored. So make sure you keep it less than 3 minutes. And okay, if you're not even going with this theory of 2 minutes attention and all this, at least respect the upload limit because there is some kind of limit posted by YouTube or video. So consider that. As of now when I'm talking to you, it's around 10 or 15 minutes, and I don't know, maybe after a few days it might increase. Still, you need to consider what is your time duration and really who is going to watch it for that long. And then now actually you start visualizing. Now you know what you're going to sell and what is the audio you're having, the length of the audio, and obviously this comes under this. And now you have kind of a mental model of how your video is going to be. Like, it's going to have, maybe the audio has a very silent beginning for 20 seconds. So okay, now you can plan, maybe I'll put the title there, and maybe in the last 3 seconds when it's fading off, that's the credits time and things like that. So now when you have something to put your elements on, these features you have, and you have some audio track, maybe draw out in a, okay, I think I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so let's assume that your audio is here, it's 0 minutes, and this is like 2 minutes 10 seconds, and yeah, I'm just now plotting the volume of the audio, assuming that volume represents the amount of activity in the music. It starts like this, then it goes up, then something is happening, then there is a dip, then there is this extreme amount of high pitch something happening, then it goes up, then there is a small dip maybe, then it comes down, and a long track. And this is a very typical pattern you'll be seeing in most of the ready-made audio tracks. This will be the start. So mostly I think you can place your title over here and your credits over here, no matter what is your project. This is how it can be. It's a very generic pattern, it's followed everywhere. And this part can be to show what is going to happen before the project, like you setting up the scene, maybe the user getting prepared, maybe a scenario is getting built, or maybe you're showing some process, or like anything can be shown in this area. This area, this area can be made use for actually selling the video, and this entire area can be used for showing all the features like tack, all this in full speed. Then again here maybe another title, if you have to split your video into some two parts. For example, there is a project where you're showing how this particular kind of artifact is going to work, and this is how you use it on this, and now you have done a user study, or you're showing some user using it, and you put a small title here, actual user study in this point of time. Then you show one or two users using it in this time period. Then you go for the credits. So this can be a very typical timeline if you're making a video for say these people. Okay, so visualizing is that part. Then storyboarding. Once when you know these stuff, okay, how to open that? Okay, then comes storyboarding. So once when you visualized in the timeline which is going to happen, then you start actually storyboarding, and you really don't have to visualize the shot like how it's seen in comic strips or in a real storyboard actually. So just write down these stuff, then maybe think of how to compose a scene which can show that feature. For example, in one of your shots you're planning to show a knob rotation. Let's assume that your product has some kind of knob to rotate and something happens in a screen. So that should be a close-up shot. So okay, this is how you think about how to compose this scene. Like, it's not about how good your product is going to look from far away and how it's going to reflect this and that. So just finish the functional part initially, like what is it going to communicate, and accordingly compose your shots. Like, there should be some close-ups to show the intricate features, there should be a long shot to show how it looks as a whole, and there should be some sense of scale to it. So you should have a human being or maybe a table or a computer, something next to it, which will kind of tell what is the size of your product. And if possible, if the product is set up in an actual scenario, actual working environment, it will be more better, because the user will get an idea of how it will look in that context. So this part is purely starts with functional things, then you can improve the aesthetics by adding some elements and giving all the visual elements. Then we enter the technical part. So till this point of time, I don't think really you have to worry about what is the software you're going to use and what camera and all this thing. Obviously all this is thinking part.